Hey you, it's Halo. Today I'm going to be talking about the Paris Agreement, which, for those of you who don't know, is basically an agreement from literally every country saying that we're going to make an effort to help the climate. Now, what is the Paris Agreement? The Paris Agreement is an international agreement made in 2015. By international, I do mean literally the entire world, which is pretty dang rare. Even the Geneva Convention, which protects us against war crimes, was only signed by 53 countries out of approximately 190, not 900, countries. This agreement has the main goals of lowering our net carbon emissions while still providing food and rights to our citizens. It recognizes that we need to keep our Earth's temperature below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial temperatures. We are currently at 8 degrees above pre-industrial temperatures. How does the Paris Agreement work? The reason the Paris Agreement was so easy for every country to join is that every part of the agreement is voluntary. Essentially, every country makes a goal to decrease their carbon emissions every 5 years. They come back with a report saying how they did. Pretty simple. They are expected to uphold the promises that they make, but since the agreement is voluntary, that doesn't always work out. Still, this gives each country enough flexibility to enter the agreement in the first place. Therefore, they are more likely to make an effort to lower their emissions. Furthermore, developed countries may also agree to financially help developing countries lower their emissions, which helps out with just lowering global emissions overall, which is a really good thing. So, was there anything important on this subject before the Paris Agreement? You bet there was. It was called the Kyoto Protocol, which took effect in 2005. This was not as widespread as the Paris Agreement. For example, the US didn't participate, and China was exempted from it. As such, it didn't have the steam to be as powerful. However, unlike the Paris Agreement, the Kyoto Protocol is legally binding and thus has more powers in the countries where it works, where it has been signed. So you ask, after all that, what are the benefits of the Paris Agreement? So some countries have used the Paris Agreement to significantly lower their carbon emissions, so it has had an effect on slowing the increase of carbon emissions globally. There has been a significant amount of coverage about the Paris Agreement as well, with the leaders of every single country recognizing that carbon emissions are a threat. The threat is legitimized. Yay! Also, having every country in the entire world agree on one thing has never been a bad thing. What are the negatives of the Paris Agreement? Generally speaking, this is a weak agreement, as most international agreements are. Therefore, while many praise its having been created, most, including me and Nicaragua, say that it isn't going far enough to prevent climate change. It also provides a false sense of security that we are doing enough to protect against climate change when, according to many, we are not. Furthermore, some say that we shouldn't be spending money on this issue in general, and especially giving money to another country to lower their emissions is not a good idea. You know, some people just aren't into that, and I get why. America first, or whatever country you're in first. But this is mainly to Americans. Now, why did I just tell you all this? Well, because in American politics, this is a pressing issue. Currently, our president wants to leave the Paris Agreement. The thing is, we can't leave until after the next election. So, if we were to leave the agreement, we would be the only country in the entire world to do so. And we are one of the world's largest sources of carbon emissions. So, while I am not trying to force my political views on you because that would be something I don't believe in, I will say that in the next election, who you vote for will be a part of determining whether we stay in this agreement. Trump clearly wants to leave, and Biden has already said that we would stay in if he were president. So, overall, it's up to you. Having said all that, please like and subscribe with the little red button down below. Be sure to turn on notifications and follow my other social media accounts, which will be down in the description. I hope you all have a bright, green, wonderful day. Toodles!